I'm so glad you're here. Come on in. I'm so glad you guys came tonight. We're having a few friends and family over for appetizers, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you how to make one of my favorite appetizers, which is Crab Rangoon.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars.
So that was me, you guys. I know it's hard to imagine, but that was me 10 years ago. And it's been a journey, to say the least. That was probably me when I was my heaviest, and I was making the same recipe then that I'm making for you guys today. I'm going to be making Crab Rangoon. And I have literally made this recipe since high school. I had a friend in high school. This is like my favorite food in the whole wide world. And she said, oh, I know how to make that. And I said, seriously? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, you have to show me how to make that. So over the years, it's progressed, right? It's changed. I don't know if I've gotten better at it, but I've done some things differently to it. There was a period of time in the middle where I was trying to seal all the edges of the wonton wrappers, and that was just terrible. So anyway, now I would say, if you asked me, that I have perfected this recipe, and it makes a lot. So these days, when I don't eat as much as I used to make this recipe and I would literally eat the whole thing. Like I wouldn't even tell anybody that I was making it, and I could eat all of it. I know, I'm getting looks. But seriously now, so I kind of make it special occasions or parties or stuff like that. And it's also, because it's a fried dish, right? I really think that it's best right before you're gonna serve it. Because I think things that are fried don't always quite heat up the same way that they do. You can put them in the oven. I'm not saying it doesn't have any holding time, but seriously, do it right before you're gonna serve it. It's the best way. So our ingredients today are, we have cream cheese. I don't care what brand you use. I've got some granulated garlic. I've got 2 cans of crab meat. Don't go out there and buy the fancy, expensive crab meat. Not for this recipe, because you're gonna mix it all together as long as the flavor's there. And I don't buy the cheapest can of crab meat, but I also don't buy the most expensive. So this one I think is pretty good. It's Bumblebee. You get whatever you get where you live, but drain it real good. And if, like we live in a dry climate, so sometimes I won't drain it completely because I want a little extra moisture. But you want your cream cheese at room temperature. I've got a little green onion I'm going to dice up, and these are the wonton skins I'm using today. They also make pot sticker wrappers. They make egg roll wrappers. They're all basically the same product, so I will interchange them if I need to, but primarily I buy the square ones. And that's what we're doing today. Okay guys, so I've got my crab and my cream cheese mixed up. Put a little bit of 1/4 of a teaspoon or so of garlic powder in there. And then I've got some green onions that I chopped up. So I'm not very good at measurements, but I'm gonna say 2 or 3 tablespoons of green onions. And then we're just gonna mix that all up. So yeah, if you just really make sure that your cream cheese is softened before you put this all in there. And then, I don't know if you can see that, but that's what you want it to look like. You want it all nice and blended, should have a smooth consistency, and then we're ready to go. So we've got our wonton wrappers here. And if you work slow, you might want to put a damp towel or a damp paper towel on top of them so that they don't dry out too bad. But what I do is I'll lay out a whole bunch of them on the counter, or sometimes I'll sit down with a tray and just work. But we're just gonna lay out a few so I can show you guys how I fold these. And probably the first time you do them, you're gonna go, oh my God, I'm never gonna do these again. But just trust me that with a little bit of practice, it doesn't take very long. So here's one of my wontons, okay? And let me get a spoon. So I would say maybe about a tablespoon of mixture in the center of this. Maybe not quite a tablespoon. I should probably measure it sometime, but 1.5 teaspoons. So we've got our mixture in the center, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold this into kind of a boat shape, okay? So I've got the two triangles coming up on the side, and then where my middle fingers and my thumbs are, those are going to get pushed to the center. And of course I messed up the first one for you. But anyway, you want the ends to fold up like that. So I'm gonna do another one for you, but you're gonna end up with these little pockets on the corners, and that's what's gonna create a way for it to float. So fold it into a boat and push the ends together. Okay, that's it. So we've got our lovely little Crab Rangoon, and I'm folding, and we're going to fry them. And all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop a couple in here. We've got our hot oil. They're gonna splatter everywhere because the oil's a little hot. It'll cool off as we start making more. It'll come to a better temperature and then it won't splatter quite so bad. But oh yeah, it's splattering. Here we go. Oh. Anyway, so that's our Crab Rangoon, and we're gonna make some sauce for it in just a second. Yeah, and then I'll show you guys how great they taste. Okay guys, so we've got about a half of a cup of apricot preserves. That's what I prefer to use, apricot, peach, sometimes orange marmalade. But I've got about half a cup of that in here, and stick it in the microwave for just a couple minutes. If you don't want the spicy sweet and you just want the sweet, you can thin it down with a little bit of water and that'll work. But I like to add sweet chili sauce. You can get this in the Asian section of any grocery store, and so I do about half and half, but you can do it to taste. And then you're just gonna microwave it, and we've got this lovely sauce. Kind of reminds me of a sweet and sour sauce that you get in the Asian food store. So then we've got our Crab Rangoon, and I would put it on a pretty serving plate, and everybody gets a little dish, and I'm just gonna give it a taste. Right. It's always perfect. I love it. The sweet, the sour, the crab, and the cream cheese just all comes together beautiful. It's a fun little appetizer. Tonight we're gonna have it with fried rice. So everybody enjoy. Thanks for coming into my kitchen today.